I'm Danny Sapko here at Gear4music, and today we're looking at a history of the bass guitar, the world's greatest instrument, in my opinion. We're going to see how the electric bass developed from its humble beginnings in the early 50s right through to the end of the 20th century. As music changed dramatically, so did the bass. So in the 1950s, rock and roll was king, and this is the kind of bass you'd expect to see from that era. The bass guitar was in a very primitive stage, and people would often play very simple bass lines to start off with, trying to emulate the sound of an upright bass. And people did this by playing with their thumb or a guitar pick, playing close to the neck up here, and using flat wound strings, because round wound strings like these weren't invented yet. Now we can emulate the sound of flat wound strings by rolling down the tone knob, and it might sound something like this. Heading into the 1960s, there was a much wider variety of basses available. People started designing hollow body basses and short scale basses, baritone guitars, which is sort of a hybrid between a guitar and a bass, and people invented innovative ways of playing these instruments, really bringing the bass to the forefront of music instead of just being in the background. A lot of bassists in the 60s preferred a more clunky sound. Clunky? Is that a word? And they'd achieve this by playing with a pick and muting the strings by the bridge with the palm of their hand. Paul McCartney loved this technique, and a lot of other bassists adopted it too. Now when I think of the 70s, I think funk and disco, and it was a great time to be a bassist. Bass lines became rhythmic and percussive, and really drove this genre of music. I'd say the bass almost became a lead instrument in these times. So this is the kind of bass you might see in that era. People were looking for more of a trebly sound, so having a pickup closer to the bridge can help you achieve that. It might sound something like this. So moving into the 1980s, and this is where the bass got really experimental. Designers were coming up with all sorts of creative designs, such as active pickups, which are battery powered, fretless basses, which removes all the frets from the neck, or extended range basses, such as this, which has 5 strings. Now this allows you to get lower, deeper, and totally change up your sound. And people were really experimenting with different bass tones, adding effects such as chorus and reverb, and most importantly, they started playing with their thumb. For me, slap bass really defines the sound of the 80s, as players such as Mark King took it to the next level. Coming up to the end of the 20th century, the 90s saw the rise of grunge music. Now with this style, players wanted a deep, gritty rock sound, so they often played with a pick and experimented using distortion and overdrive on their bass. This style really stripped the bass guitar back to its roots, because it wasn't so much about which notes you played, it's how you play them. And you might find a bass like this one, with a pickup right in the middle to give you that growling sound, and a pickup near the bridge to give you that clarity and brightness and really cut through the mix. Here's how it might sound. Alright, that was my brief history lesson on the evolution of the bass guitar. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And for more information on any of these basses, please check the link in the description. I've been Danny Sapko for Gear4music, and I'll see you soon.